prison that doesn't appear on any map. Only one man ever came back out. But who else had been inside? In the northern region of Kasséna, Burkina Faso, a highly respected tribal leader went for his usual morning walk in the forest and never returned. He left no trace at home, in the fields, or beneath the sacred tree. No footprints, no sign of struggle. It was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. At first, his family assumed he had simply wandered deep into the wilderness. But just 3 hours later, a strange pit was discovered in the forest, along with scattered strips of plastic, and a wave of fear swept through the village. The pit didn't look natural. Its walls were perfectly smooth. The ground wasn't made of stone, it was warm. The first person to receive the report was President Ibrahim Traoré. And in that moment, he gave what might have been the shortest, but most powerful, order of his life. This isn't a disappearance. This is a burial. We'll find him in 48 hours, even if we have to go through the earth. That same day, reconnaissance teams were dispatched to the area. Thermal satellite scans detected something unusual. A specific patch of ground was reading 4 degrees hotter than its surroundings. Yet no life form was detected beneath it. Traoré didn't appear before the cameras. Instead, he summoned only his military advisors and said, looking them dead in the eyes, "The earth isn't silent. No one's been listening the right way." But there was one critical detail almost everyone overlooked. Near the pit, scattered among the plastic strips, lay broken fragments of a signal jamming device. So where did that pit lead? To a grave or to a secret buried beneath the soil? As the reconnaissance teams began excavation, the ground resisted. At 8 meters, rock layers. At 10 meters, thick red clay. But at 12 meters, the drill made a sound, metal striking concrete. The surface was solid, uniform, and clearly man-made. Stranger still, it was coated in heat-resistant material that blocked external signal detectors. This kind of technology was rarely seen outside military installations. But this wasn't a command center. There were no gates, no flags, no signs. Just a small magnetic panel embedded in stone and discrete passive cameras surrounding the perimeter. From the outside it was nearly invisible. From the inside it was inescapable. When Traoré read the report, he didn't raise his voice. He simply bit his lip, then spoke in a cold, steady tone. "This isn't a prison for criminals. It's a cage for thinkers." When the hatch was finally forced open, what lay beneath was a narrow hallway and 4 small rooms. Each room had a metal frame bed, a fixed camera in the ceiling, and a desk chained to the floor. But it was what they found in one of the rooms that turned everyone's stomach: the missing leader's walking staff. But the man himself was still gone. Investigators noticed something else: a small, outdated digital archive station near the entrance. It appeared to be used for storing surveillance footage, but nearly all files had been deleted. Only one file remained. Its title sent chills down their spines: Subject 5 Conflict Profile, Silence Protocol Activated. This wasn't a detention, it was an erasure. They weren't imprisoning the man, they were silencing his voice. Why was the leader targeted? And how long had this secret dungeon been breathing beneath the soil undetected? The moment Traoré saw the walking staff inside the underground cell, he didn't hesitate. He acted. A magnetic resonance radar, secured with special clearance from France, was rushed to the site. At the same time, the country's top intelligence officer quietly arrived. He only said 2 words: "It's unregistered." That's all Traoré needed to know. This was a state within the state, a hidden cell operating beyond the reach of any official mandate. A system built to target ethnic leaders and public figures, silencing those who questioned, resisted, or simply thought too freely. The radar detected a heat source deeper beneath the concrete slab. Not ambient heat, body heat, 39.4 degrees Celsius. A sign that something or someone was still alive. Time was evaporating. Traoré issued the command: "Don't wait for permission. Break the concrete." A team of 8 elite soldiers, equipped with oxygen masks and reinforced shields, began drilling through the foundation. At the 44th hour, a wave of hot air burst from a crack in the floor, leaving everyone dazed. Then, a faint gasp for air. As the final slab was lifted, the leader's body was revealed. His hands were bound, eyes shut, but he was alive. This wasn't just a rescue, it was a resurrection. And his first words changed everything. This isn't the only one. There are 5 more. He handed Traoré a hand-drawn map, torn, stained, but unmistakably marked. 5 separate locations, 5 hidden sites scattered across the country. A dungeon had been uncovered, but the system was still breathing. And now Traoré wasn't just facing a rescue mission, he was stepping into a battle for his nation's soul. When Traoré laid the map flat on the table, silence overtook the room. 5 distinct locations, strategically scattered across the country, from the northern borders to the southern plains. And one detail stood out. Each marked point was in a region of high population density and strong tribal influence. Special analysis teams were assembled immediately. The first site, according to government records, was listed as a training camp, yet satellite images showed no signs of drills or movement. The second was a long-abandoned clinic, and yet foot traffic data revealed something odd. Far too many people going in, and no sign of them coming out. A whistleblower finally stepped forward. These sites were built over a decade ago. The excuse was national security, but then something changed. Tribal leaders, community voices, they started disappearing without a trace. The objective was becoming disturbingly clear. Neutralize the figures who represented the will of the people, not through violence, not through trials, but through silence. Vanish them, quietly, permanently, like black boxes. Everyone knew they existed, but no one knew what was inside. Traoré didn't take this to the media. Instead, he convened a classified session in Parliament. His speech was brief but sharp. If there is a hidden system below us, the surface shall no longer bend to its shadow. A 12-member special commission was established. Its mission: scan, map, and, if necessary, dismantle all underground facilities operating within national borders. This was no longer about one rescue. It was about rebuilding the very structure of the state. Until those above ground are freer than those buried below, this nation cannot claim true independence. The rescue of the tribal leader sent shockwaves throughout the nation. It was no longer just about finding one man, it was proof of how deeply a people had been silenced. The streets filled with crowds. Walls were painted with the words, "We will not be silenced." Social media exploded with the hashtag number sign beneath the soil. News outlets began combing through archives. 17 tribal leaders had disappeared over the past decade, and now they were all being remembered. At the 48th hour, Traoré went live on national television. There was no grand stage, just a chair, a microphone, and a mud-stained walking staff. The same staff recovered with the tribal leader held firmly in his grasp. Traoré raised it toward the camera and spoke clearly. Those who tried to silence him wanted to bury the will of a nation. But we were born of the earth. You cannot erase us by burying us. That very day, a historic legislative proposal was submitted to Parliament. It contained 3 powerful articles. 1. All surveillance systems targeting tribal leaders will be dismantled. 2. Every underground facility within national borders will undergo inspection by an independent oversight council. 3. All unregistered operations will be disclosed to the public in full transparency. The law wasn't just administrative reform. It was a reclamation of memory, of dignity, of leadership. In the final image, a young girl walks forward carrying the rescued leader's staff. Behind her, the people follow. There is no fear in her eyes, only hope. No one will be buried beneath the earth again, because now that earth does not just hold the past,